Jimmy, FX Charts. Thanks for tuning in this morning. It was a pretty mixed end to the week on Friday. The US dollar was under a little bit of pressure against the majors. There's some uncertainty over when tapering is going to begin. Certainly the equity markets think it's some way off, with both the Dow and the S&P closing at new all-time highs. Although the US bond market yields did ratchet higher, so with the uncertainty, it kept the dollar under a little bit of pressure. And the European majors all headed a bit higher, with the euro being assisted by some business sentiment data improvement, which came out better than expected. And also the ECB's President Draghi played down the chance of negative interest rates. So that helped the euro. And it did head a little bit higher, although it didn't reach the earlier week highs of around 135.80, and it's currently trading a little bit under there at the moment. So we go to the charts and have a look. As I say, the euro at the moment is trading at 135.5 right now. As it's under 135.80 the week's high. Looks as though it could head a little bit higher. I don't think I'll be getting too carried away today though. And I suspect we're probably in a sort of 135, 136 range trade for the day. The dailies, which have been pointing a little bit lower, now look as though they could head a wee bit higher, but I'm not overly bullish on the euro. And with the ECB possibly, because considering interest rates easing down the track, then I don't think the upside for the euro is all that great. Dollar yen, well that is under a bit of pressure, and it looks as though the dollar is headed higher. Although today, with the 4-hour indicators being somewhat overbought, I'm not sure that we're going too far, and I would think maybe a range trade in the 101 to 101.5 area looks fairly likely. But eventually, I think we're going to break above this 101.5 area and probably head towards 103. That's going to take a little while though. We have got the BOJ's Kuroda speaking this afternoon, so keep an eye out for that. Sterling, that's looking pretty good. It finished close to its highs. It's back above 162. Now it is coming up against serious resistance though. It's failed for the last 2 or 3 times it's up here, and if we look at further out on the weekly charts, it's right at the top of the weekly channel. So I think be a bit wary of buying it up here. If we saw a daily close above there, I think we're probably heading to, this is 163.10 or so, heading above there, and if we can get above there, then we're heading back towards 164, 165. But until then, just be a little bit careful on the top side. Dollar Swiss, that's in a sort of small channel heading a bit lower. It's sitting on support here, this sort of 90-80 level. But if it breaks underneath there, then I think we're probably heading a little bit lower. I'm a bit surprised. I thought I was looking to buy dollars last week around here, but never really got set, and now I'm not quite so sure. And it looks to me as though we're trading in a bit of a wedge, and there could be a little bit more dollar weakness before it turns higher. The Aussie's in trouble. Here we are. The head and shoulders formation that we spoke about last week looks to be playing out. Now I wouldn't want to see it back above the neckline really at 92.70. If it does, then I think we're probably heading up to this trend line at 93.80. And if we get up there, that's quite a bullish sign for it. But in the meantime, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And if the head and shoulders plays out, reaching the objective, then we're headed to around 87.5. On the day though, the 4-hourly chart's pretty oversold, so I wouldn't be expecting too much out of Asia, or probably out of Europe come to that. But the dailies tell us that we've got plenty of downside ahead. The Kiwi, pretty much the same. It's broken the neckline of the head and shoulders, but it's got good support down here. It did get down to 81.40 on Friday, bounced to about 81.90. So this 100 and 200 day moving average that we can see here, it might do a bit of work in between those. Ultimately though, I do think if this head and shoulders plays out, we're going to 78.5. That's about it on the majors. On the crosses, I'll just have a quick look at the crosses, because they're quite interesting at the moment. The Euro Aussie, as we can see over the last couple of days, this is a 4-hour chart, has moved up quite dramatically. It's broken above the resistance, moved up, and I think there's more in it. Now I wouldn't necessarily be buying it here because the short-term charts are now pretty overbought, but if we could get back down around here for 146, then I think it's probably not a bad buy. Leave a stop loss under that sort of 145, 145.5 area, but I'm looking for a move back up to this 150 area that we saw earlier in the year. Sterling Oz, much the same. Sterling Oz has broken above and out of its recent consolidation. I think that's probably headed higher. If we look further out on a weekly chart, this high here back in, where was that, 2010, that's at about 181. So I think we can possibly go and have a look at that. I wouldn't be buying it here right now, because I do think it can retrace. The short-term charts sets are overbought, and it can retrace to about 175. So I'd leave it to that. But I think at that stage it probably is a buy for further gains down the track. The yen crosses, if we look at euro yen, I'll just look at euro yen here quickly. That's breaking higher, and it looks to me that's a monthly chart. But if we go to the dailies, or actually the weeklies are probably a better bet. And the objective here is probably at around 138.5, this high around here. But ultimately, this 61.8% of the whole move down is about 140.5. So I think that's probably where we're headed. You can probably actually see this better on a monthly chart. Yeah, there we are. So we've broken above the 1 and the 200 month moving averages, and I think we're probably headed in that direction. And if we came back down, well, there's going to be good support at about the 135 level. So where's that? That's about there. Yeah. So it's about 135, and under there, then I think we're probably going to see some prolonged consolidation. But overall, I prefer to buy dips, looking for a move higher. So that's about it at the moment. We'll be back with another video tomorrow. In the meantime, have a good day's trading. Bye bye.